Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So, some real serious allegations have come underway, and I don't think that R. Kelly is going to be able to get out of this. And I will say this: I've been reading article upon article. It's just like crazy. They're just popping out everywhere. So, I just wanted to show you this layout of a few articles. This is just a few of very many. So surviving R. Kelly spurs follow-up calls from the DA attorney for alleged victim's family says, and this is out of CNN. R. Kelly under criminal investigation in Georgia thanks to surviving R. Kelly. That's through TMZ and Stuffco NZ. So this titled Surviving R. Kelly, singer under investigation following revelations in documentary report says. And so earlier I was reading an article where some other people were chiming in. A lot of people have been talking about this, so this is pretty big. And so this is another article that says R. Kelly investigation reportedly open in Georgia after surviving documentary airs. And so this is by a Taran writer. And so R. Kelly investigation reportedly opened after surviving R. Kelly docu-series airs under Yahoo Entertainment. And so it goes on to say that R. Kelly is being investigated for sexual misconduct in Georgia following Lifetime's explosive Surviving R. Kelly docu-series. And so according to the multiple reports that exactly multiple reports that are out. And so I just want to say this. I saw an article earlier today and just hearing it, it was really disturbing. And they were talking about how in, you know, this situation there was mind control that was used and also that some of these girls were forced to urinate in buckets. And so I know starting that off, that sounds pretty dramatic, but there was a lot more, even worse. That's bad. There was a lot of stuff that was going on. And so that docu-series, I guess, that did it right there. That sparked a nerve in a lot of people. And so this is the thing I want to say before I start this article is that a lot of people enable these individuals to do this stuff because they pass it off as, oh, the girls, they went there, they were fans, they asked for it. And so a lot of women have had to hear that for I don't know how long. And so a lot of this stuff is not all the woman's fault. A lot of these girls, yes, they were young and naive and gullible, but you got to hold the person that is involved in all of this, that's the predator, responsible. At some point in their life, you have to hold them responsible and accountable for their actions as well. Because if you never do, they continue to be a predator and do things to other people's children. And the cycle continues. And so apparently he's never really been held accountable for his actions. So to him, he denies it and he doesn't feel like he's doing anything wrong. So the blast claims that the Fulton County District Attorney's Office is actively looking into allegations made against the Ignition singer. He's 52 years old and a mansion he previously had owned in Johns Creek, Georgia. Asante McGee, a purported victim, is cooperating with officials right now, according to the report, and apparently provided an eyewitness account into her time spent with R. Kelly at his former home. So in this docu-series, McGee claimed that she met R. Kelly when she was about 35 years of age, and that he had treated her as if she was in his personal, like he was personal sex slave. She also claimed that she saw women being held against their will at the Johns Creek property before she escaped herself. And so it says one of the charges on the table for R. Kelly is purportedly false imprisonment And the DA's office has apparently spoke to one of the alleged victims already. So this is what's going on, y'all. This is pretty serious. This is no joke. So this man is probably going to end up doing some serious jail time, some prison time. So in the docuseries, McGee claims that she met R. Kelly when she was 35, and she was treated. He had treated her as if she was his own personal sex slave. So she also claims that she saw women being held against their will at the Johns Creek property before she had escaped herself. So one of the charges on the table for R. Kelly is purportedly false imprisonment, and the DA's office has apparently spoken to one of the alleged victims already. And so R. Kelly right here, he's performing at Little Caesars Arena on February 1st, 2018. So this was in Detroit, Michigan. So he was still performing on stage and still doing his music to try to make a little money because he had lost a lot of money. So according to, probably court fees and all of the other things that are going on, and, he did say that he had lost a lot of money. And, a lot of it has to do with these allegations that are being made against him. So according to TMZ, the attorney for Jocelyn Savage's family has also been contacted, and the family is cooperating with investigators. Jocelyn's 23 years of age has stated that she freely chose to be with R&B singer, but her family believes that she was brainwashed. And so when contacted by the reports by Yahoo on Tuesday, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office said that we do not have any comment at this time. So that's a lot of times what they do before they end up in court. So the lawyers tell the people not to say anything until they end up, having to hash it out the legal way in court. So the investigation was apparently launched immediately after last week's recording, a record-breaking premiere. So this premiere, this is a big doozy. I mean, this is a big, big, big deal here. Because this, according to another article that I was looking at, and now this is from, I'm actually reading from my phone. It says R. Kelly has faced these allegations for over 2 decades. So R. Kelly has faced accusations of sexual misconduct dating back as far as 1994. So the R&B singer has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, and this was on CNN. And so he's faced these allegations before, because I remember when it happened, because they had him all up in court. So get ready, he gonna be all up in court again, because this time he might not get away from this one. And two, he's got his family coming out saying some things that have happened to them when they were in their childhood. Some other people might end up facing some serious prison time as well, not just him. So the series investigates years of claims that R. Kelly both sexually and emotionally abused his victims, and that some of them were under the age of 18. Kelly has denied all of his allegations, and he's always denied his allegations. So that's basically a short snippet of that article. That article is very short. I think they actually, did a little bit more, but right here, there are other articles. This is the article that says surviving R. Kelly spurs follow-up calls from the DA attorney for alleged victims' family, says out of CNN. So let's read this one. Surviving R. Kelly, the singer under investigation following revelations in documentary. This is out of Stuff. Trying to see if it'll come up. Okay. So this is not really this is how you know it's not something that's made up, that's not something that somebody just is bringing about. When you got several reports about this situation here, is pretty serious. And so it says the R&B singer R. Kelly is under investigation following the premiere of the docuseries, or documentary rather, Surviving R. Kelly. According to the TMZ, the Lifetime docuseries prompted Georgia police to launch the probe investigation into R. Kelly's role in several alleged instances of abuse, rape, shared by survivors of the documentary. So, U.S. investigators are in contact with the women who are the victims, are alleged victims, who claims that she escaped R. Kelly's home, and several other women too who claim that they have either suffered at the hands or the singer's hands, or they have witnessed abuse by the singer himself. So this is him here. For those of you that don't know who R. Kelly is, a lot of people do, but for those of you that don't, he was a popular R&B singer, especially very popular probably sometime in the 80s, 90s, mainly the 90s. And so he was always singing songs about women, about love, about sex, about getting together and everything. And then there was an incident that happened where he was with a young artist, and people were looking at that, and not too much came out of that afterward, I guess. But now a lot of stuff is coming forward, of course. But over a course of a series of events that have happened through this singer's life, a lot of women have alleged that he has either raped them, committed, acts of sexual abuse, used some women as sex slaves, and there's been a lot of allegations against him. So that's the reason why this is going on. But anyway, okay, so a lot of people have been, coming out with a lot of different things about this singer. So R. Kelly has denied all the allegations, despite all of the people that have come against him and talked about his abuse. And so you have many articles of people like who want him locked away. Time's Up takes aim at R. Kelly over sex misconduct. New R. Kelly accuser step forward with underage sex abuse allegations. Spotify removes R. Kelly music from playlists for his harmful behavior. R. Kelly bringing 3-hour show to New Zealand. Flava cut ties with upcoming R. Kelly concert. R. Kelly claims advertised tour to Australia and New Zealand was faked. Publicist says that R. Kelly may still perform in NZ despite fake tour claim and abuse allegations. So this is pretty serious, y'all. I mean, a lot of people are coming towards this singer, or what would have been singer, was a singer. Um, and so Lifetime docuseries where women who claim to have been abused witnessed abuse by R&B star R. Kelly share their stories. So according to The Guardian, the docuseries was launched on Tuesday and is largely inspired by 18 years of reporting on R. Kelly's alleged treatment of women and girls in Chicago by Chicago journalist Jim DeRogatis. Okay. And so this is another picture of R. Kelly. He's performing at Little Caesars Arena in 2018. And so some people ask the question, why isn't he locked up? Since all these people have come forward about him. So DeRogatis, or Rogartis, excuse me for the pronunciation of this person's name, his most recent investigative work included allegations of a sex cult that was going on. So that's what was said, that R. Kelly was having women in, holding them hostage as sex slaves, and he had a sex cult. And so it was pretty graphic. So based at the R. Kelly's Atlanta home, there was kidnapping, underage rape, and harassment. So Kelly denied the existence of this supposedly sex cult, which a lot of people say he did have a sex cult, and he still does, and that he hasn't let all of the women go. And so women who work with the star and many others formerly associated with him have contributed their stories to this documentary. And so this is pretty big. So there's a lot of articles out there about this man and his dealings with some of these issues and these allegations. So anyway, without further ado, I'm just going to click on here. I don't know if there may be a commercial or something that'll play. And so the video will play pretty soon. So I might have to turn it up.
There's a difference between R. Kelly and Robert. R. Kelly's this fun, laughing, loving guy. But Robert is the devil.
R. Kelly is at the top of the charts, but he may be in for a fall. He was arrested today on 21 counts of child pornography.
Kelly is accused of videotaping himself having sex with an underage girl.
Taking advantage of minors will not be tolerated.
Jurors found him not guilty on all charges.
Robert has said all along he'd be cleared of these terrible charges.
Shame on you! Shame on you! New R. Kelly! New R. Kelly! We got a tip that she's here.
She's not.
R. Kelly has denied accusations that he's holding women against their will in a sex cult.
He said he loved you so much. I've never introduced her to him. I should have never introduced our family.
He's the puppet master.
It was very scary because I knew at that moment I had a secret.
Sparkle is alleged to have received significant payment.
I didn't take the money because I can't be bought. He ain't a monster by himself. It took some help. I was just ready to get the hell out of there. Black women don't get the same recognition as our white counterparts. And I wish that would change.
A grown man, 50-something years old. That's not acceptable. No way. No way.
Okay, so those of you who have not seen this, that was a trailer of the R. Kelly docuseries of what is going on with this particular singer, and it's really big right now. And so I just thought that I would, bring that out so you can kind of get an idea of how serious this is, because I don't think I could have said it any better than the trailer itself, in and of itself. But what do you think about this story? This is getting pretty heated. And I've been even seeing on YouTube, there have been some other famous people who have come out. Some people who said that they have seen or heard some different things, and they're coming out with some of their shocking statements as well. And so this is getting pretty serious, and I don't think R. Kelly has much time left. I think he's been dodging a bullet, and I think now it's at the point or a turning point where people have said enough is enough. Because, I know you guys are going to say, oh, here we go with this again. But, we got this Me Too movement. We have Weinstein, the Cosby situation. So what makes it any different that R. Kelly gets away with what he did? And there's a lot of people coming forward about what he's done. And they actually, from this docuseries, have proof of people admitting some of the things they've seen and showing some of the things that have happened to them in their own way, how they do it, that they've been raped or they've been abused or they were held as captive. One girl said she escaped. So this is pretty serious. I don't think he can escape this. And so it's true. I have to be honest. I feel like a lot of people are enabling him. And just because he's a black man does not mean that we have to enable this type of behavior in our community, outside of our community. I don't think it's fair. He should not get the royal treatment just because he's a black guy. I think you should treat everybody in the same manner. If you're going to punish people for mistreatment of women, it doesn't matter what color they are, or what nationality they are, or what language they speak. If they're mistreating women, just get them all straight across the board and give them the punishment that's just due. It doesn't matter who they are or what they look like. If they're mistreating women and they're holding people captive, if they need to be held responsible for their actions, rape, mutilization, or whatever it is that they're involved in, the sex cult, they should be punished just like everybody else. Give them the punishment too, So, well, the investigation is now underway, and this this docuseries, I guess people said enough is enough. And so some people, I guess, they think just because the guy he was singing and he supposedly had this talent. Hey, there's a lot of guys in prison with talent. But if he murders somebody, or if he kills somebody, he rapes somebody, or he kidnaps somebody, or he's committing pedophilia, or he's doing things to people's kids, like, having sex with them and videotaping himself having sex with kids, he's going to get punished. He's going to be, given his just due. So it doesn't mean, oh, he's got talent, so we can't punish him, you know. So I think there's some people that have this mentality that, you know, it's okay to do certain things to females, especially if it's black females. And then if it's just females in general, there's not a lot of respect anymore. Like, I don't know if there ever really was, but there might be a select few that are out there that really know how to treat females with respect. But it seems like a lot of that has been thrown out of the window. And from what I've been seeing lately, there is none, not very many that have respect, not even for themselves even. So if they don't respect themselves, don't think of them going to respect any children or women. Not at all. So with this being said, there's a lot that I've been reading. Not just even at work today, I saw where somebody, he came out and he did an article and he said somebody has to hold R. Kelly accountable. You know, Forget the fact that he's a black man and we're using these videos and everything, and trying to enable him and trying to defend him because of the fact that he's a black man. And so anyway, I'm gonna see if I can find that. I know I seen another one where it had a group of women, and I guess these might have been women who had are probably in the docu series of Surviving R. Kelly. And so just bear with me for a second. I was trying to see if I can run into that article again. Okay, so R. Kelly under criminal investigation. And so that one is in there, is in full effect. I think that's the TMZ one. I mean, it's just really been a hot topic. So it might have been this one that I was looking at. It says justice for R. Kelly's victims will be a step toward racial justice, not an impediment to it. And so I'm looking at this right now, and I guess this one right here says R. Kelly's time is finally up. And so this is by Jamila Lemix. And so I don't know if I'm even saying this name correctly, but it says being an R. Kelly hater in the early 2000s, Chicago was a mighty lonely experience. But the release of the video that featured him engaged in sexual acts with two teenage girls was all the proof I needed to let him go. Though his marriage to Aaliyah in 1995 and the stories I heard about him approaching my friends when we were only in middle school should have done the trick. So I believe this is the article that I had seen originally earlier today. It was pretty shocking. So it said, for 2 decades, I have been begging people to stop playing this man's music, stop purchasing his tickets to his shows, and stop acting like he isn't the blame for every single relationship he's had with an underage girl. So despite mountains of reporting, not nearly enough, mind you, and evidence, people found ways to disregard allegations as rumors and cited his 2008 acquittal on child pornography charges as a reason to leave the matter be. And so this is what I was reading earlier, and it really does list out, some really valid points here. And so let me see if I can pull this article up for you so it doesn't look like I'm just making this up. I always like to come out and bring about articles that I'm reading, so it doesn't look like it's something that is made up. So it says R. Kelly's time. And so I really did agree with who did this article, because it really did make a lot of sense. and they put a lot of time and effort into it because it really does mean a lot. And so, anyway, this is what I'm reading here, y'all, so that you can see that I'm not just, making up this article here. I'm going to turn down the video. I don't know if the video is going to play, but there is probably a video. It's got content loading, so I guess they've done some interviewing with R. Kelly because, every time he denies the allegations. So I was over here reading where it says, for 2 decades, I have been begging this person that's writing this, begging people to stop playing this man's music and stop purchasing his tickets to his show, stop acting like he isn't to blame for every single relationship that he had with an underage girl, despite the mountains of evidence and amounts of reporting, not nearly enough, mind you, of evidence. People found ways to disregard allegations as rumors and cited his 2008 acquittal on child pornography charges as a reason to leave the matter be. And so this man has been in trouble before, y'all, about the same situation, but it was child pornography. And so this is pretty serious. To give him a pass, Weinstein, Cosby, all these other people, now, this man, we're seeing this in real time that this has happened. Just because they're black women doesn't mean that they should not get the same justice that white women get, or any other woman for that matter of fact. So the same community that knows how unfair and inadequate the criminal justice system can be will lean on it when someone they love has been legally exonerated. But now, finally, it feels like there is a sea change happening. So since this is R. Kelly, he attends the Z100 New York Jingle Ball, and this was December 2013 in Madison's Square Garden in New York City, right there. So since the first episode of Dreams Hampton docuseries Surviving R. Kelly aired, I have been inundated with calls, texts, emails, direct messages from friends and colleagues, former classmates, and complete strangers. They thank me for appearing in the film and for constantly speaking out about Kelly and his predations, okay? Predations. And so I've heard confession from one of other survivors of the sexual abuse who never shared their stories with anyone and who heard vows to stop supporting a once beloved artist. So my mother was even approached at a restaurant in the neighborhood where I grew up by a woman who remarked that she remembered seeing us together when I was a child. And so then the woman told my mother that she had too suffered at the singer's hands when she was just about 17 years of age. So R. Kelly has a history now. So he's been doing this. So it says that most significantly, the state of Georgia has reportedly reopened its investigation into R. Kelly's actions. Yet there are still folks out there who seem to believe that those of us who participated in these projects are acting on a desire to destroy the image of a successful black man for insignificant or unfair reasons, or perhaps for no reason at all. Others feel that dedicating 6 hours of television to the sick offstage behavior represents the disparity in how black and white male suspects are treated. So I've heard confessions, and this is like in quotes, confessions from other survivors of sexual abuse who never shared their stories with anyone and who heard vows to stop supporting a once beloved artist. So one particular infuriating video shows a black man weeping at what he describes as the documentary's insinuation that one black man is the number one pedophile on the planet. Okay. I didn't realize that there were power rankings for sexual predators, but I suppose it's not surprising that someone who primarily harms black victims would chart low on the list. So those responses are a slap in the face to black women and girls who have already endured the indignity of Kelly's continued success. So who have already been told implicitly and explicitly over and over that our suffering and our success is less important than that of our male counterparts. Okay, so black women have been told that misogyny of rappers must go unchecked, that the largely black male artists who dominate the genre must be allowed to tell their truths without restriction, that we've long understood that the violent racist nature of law enforcement means that we cannot speak or we cannot seek police aid at all when we are harmed by one of our own men without risking the possibility that he will be harmed by a responding officer. So we know that those same officers are unlikely to believe us or show us the sort of empathy befitting a victim. We've also been taught to believe that fast black teen girls are to blame when adult men engage them for sex that they cannot legally consent to have. And so here's a picture of the late R&B singer or R&B hip hop singer Leah. I say pop, hip hop, R&B, a little bit of blues in it. And so she was a beautiful young lady, and this was one of the ones that he was involved with. And so there are also still those who seem to feel that step in the name of love means more than humanity of both the famed singer like Aaliyah and formerly nameless, faceless R. Kelly victims who have risked so much to participate in this series. But letting black men escape accountability isn't some sort of retribution for our ancestors who were murdered over false accusations, or for our peers who languish behind bars for crimes that they did not commit. Those of us who really care about justice should focus on creating a world where the race of an abuser will not protect him from punishment, nor ensure that he will be unduly punished. So we cannot undo the darkness of our past or our present by protecting black men who abuse black women under the auspice of racial solidarity. Furthermore, attempts to let men like Kelly off the hook because of their race implies that black men are either inherently predisposed to sexual violence or black girls and women are inherently incapable of being victimized. We cannot undo the darkness of our past or our present by protecting black men who abuse black women under the auspices of racial solidarity. My desire for R. Kelly to lose his livelihood, social capital, and freedom isn't about revenge or some sort of vendetta, nor is it brand building or an attempt to further my career. I have a responsibility to address the unchecked abuse that black women and girls have faced all too often, and I added that in there, at the hands of men. So I am an obligation to build a world in which those same girls and women aren't tasked with protecting those same men out of a sense of racial loyalty. So I'm just a writer, a commentator, and I didn't launch hashtag mute R. Kelly or set the world ablaze with hashtag me too. I didn't speak out about abuse by former friend and family member, nor am I one of the brave survivors who endured harm at the hands of a singer. But as such, I don't think I deserve any credit or props. I'm just a black woman, a Chicago native, and a mother doing what I want anyone else to do if they had the opportunity, standing up for black girls and for all of the survivors. Being an R. Kelly hater isn't so lonely these days, and it's about damn time. So I thought this article pretty much pointed out the real crux of the feelings of people who feel like time is really up for this man, because he's created a lot of despair in young women's lives, and it's got to stop. And so I would implore people to look at this docuseries, or if it's too much for you, you know, he shouldn't get off the hook just because of his skin or his race or whatever. If you do wrong, wrong is wrong, no matter what color you are, you know? So that's the way I see it. So with that being said, I'm going to let this video go, y'all. it's just sad that this stuff is happening. I just think that more and more of these allegations that come out, the more and more I see that something should have been done a long time ago. And no matter what skin color a person is, if they're doing wrong, wrong is wrong. Point blank. Thanks for listening.